All right, welcome to the Starting Over Podcast. I'm your host, Edward Shelton, aka Dark Logos, and this is a show where we look at the strategies, tactics, and mechanics behind the game of heroclix. All right, so this is part 2 of the Nick Fury review. If you have not listened to part 1, I would really encourage you to do so. Go and listen to part 1 and get all that out your system before listening into this part. So overall, if you don't know what I do, what I do is look at the set, and I just bring up the figures that are worth looking at. I don't waste your time with saying, this is crap, don't play this. I just focus on like, okay, this is reasonable or good, or oh my gosh, this is broken. If it's crap, I've sort of learned I'm just wasting your time just telling you that it's crap because you already know it's crap. So all right, let's just go ahead and move on. We're going to look at the Prime Baron Blood, and the main reason we're looking at the Prime Baron Blood is just that overall, that if you pull it off at 105 points and you start healing up past that starting line into the stupid level zone, that charge 11 attack exploit, or even get hypersonic speed 12 attack 5 damage, that's pretty good. Now, the other thing I really want to point out is wild dials have one distinct advantage, is that when you combine them with entities, oh man, you're able to do some weird combos, because some powers and stats that you're not really supposed to be having during that part of the game, you have access to, and you can start putting in weird control effects like with parallax. But shh, you didn't hear that from me. But anyway, but Baron Blood is just one of those examples that if this goes off and you're landing those attacks and you're able to heal up, you're able to do some strong level stuff. Now, I would say this: Indigo Battery, just to make sure that you can get in there and start healing up, because you're getting traded still energy. And also, he has the trait Fighting Alongside My Brother. Baron Blood ignores the Mystic's team ability, so that's great. And if friendly characters named Doctor Strange is on the map, Baron Blood modifies his attack and damage values by +1 when attacking a character with a monster or mystical keyword. Which, whatever. Don't care about that. Okay, really don't care about that. In Golden Age, he is a monster, so, you know who he hangs out with. You know who he hangs out with. That lovable, cuddle, bunny, mole man. Just gets all in his head. Makes him go out there and do extra attacks for the team, so that he becomes stupider and stupider and stupider. You know how it goes. Alright. Next up is Feeding on Morgana. This I don't like so much. Baron Blood can use super senses. He can use regeneration, but only as a free action and only if adjacent to a friendly character. When he does, he heals a minimum of 1, and after actions resolved, deal an adjacent friendly character 1 unavoidable damage. Here's why I don't like it. It's the fact that you're hurting your own figures. Now, if you haven't noticed, this set seems to have a lot of Pog people. I don't know if you've noticed that. Also, it seems that this set has just, tons of fodder that's just generated for hella cheap. So wouldn't it be viable for Baron Blood to satiate his lovable, awesome regenning ability on a hoverbot? Yeah, I went there. Let's be honest. Let's be 100% honest. 105 points, 6 clicks deep if you ignore his wild dial stuff. Yeah, he's going to have problems. If you just straight up say, hey, guess what? I got the decoy on me. I have shape change to give me a little bit more survivability. You can't target me because I'm an Indigo Lantern. And then you stack on top of the fact that you're carrying your snack with you. Oh, Fitz, keep making those awesome deliveries. And so you can possibly have enhancement or empower depending on how you want to treat Fitz. And then just be like, yeah, attack. You attack, do all your cool jazz, and they're like, oh, let's light up the vampire. Bring out the sunbeams. And there's like, oh, it burns. And then, you're back. You're on that region. You're just like, snack. Eat the hoverbot. Roll for regen. Okay. Get your regen, then punch a fool because it's for free. So, yes, this is dumb. This is dumb. I didn't realize how dumb it was because initially when I'm thinking about it, in debate it's called leading the question, is you make your opponent think of one thing when you state the question so that they can only answer in one way, or leading the witness is another way of putting it. So when I initially read it, I actually visualized a vampire sucking blood from Morgan Le Fay, the figure, and I said, no, I don't want to take damage on my 145 point piece. This is dumb. Why would I want this power? Okay, so that's the thought that's seeded into my brain. Is that the right conclusion? No, because that's not what it says. If you're adjacent to a friendly character, a friendly character did not necessarily mean it can't be a bystander token. You see what I did there? So just keep that in mind. Like, literally, Fitz just creates free snacks for this guy. Or Ant-Man. Like, Ant-Man even more so. He's just like... But Fitz is more important because Fitz can create... the hoverbots, and since they're tiny, you can just carry them, and they have side steps so they can just maneuver around however you want them to maneuver. So it's something different. Now, will I say this is S-class meta? No. If you notice how I put the entire affair, it's very defensive. You still have a 10 attack, you still have a 3 damage. And even if you do get that first attack off where you're on your first click of your wild dial with charge, 10 attack, invulnerability, and 3 damage with exploit, it's really easy for your opponent to knock you back down. You have to really work at it. And unless you can get flurry, which Proselyte does that, you're trading, I can't get shot for +1 attacks and charge flurry. So just pointing it out. Maybe, I don't know if Butcher does. I don't have Butcher. I didn't study him too hard. So Butcher might be useful. Who knows? All right. Let's just keep going. Let's look at Jet Black, because this is sort of hilarious. There's a lot of like, I'm someone's daughter and I'm inspired, or whoever, and I'm inspired by Steve Rogers. That I do find that sort of hilarious. When you build your force, Jet Black gains the keywords that friendly characters named Armin Zola, Captain America, or Steve Rogers possesses. Cap Falcon, you're awesome. When adjacent to one of those characters, modify Jet Black's attack values by +1. That's okay. So that trait's there, but it's more of effortless fluidity, where you have improved movement, ignores hindering in elevation. That's pretty awesome in and of itself. All right. So you have a lot of access that, just to get to characters, which is pretty cool. Considering you have 0 range, it's like, meh. Omni senses. Now, this is where it gets silly. Jet Black can use probability control when attacking. While attacking. When she does, she may choose only choose to only re-roll 1 die. Oh, wow. I rolled. I have a 6 and a 1. Guess which die I'm re-rolling. Yeah, that 1. So it allows you to sort of save your highest die roll, but if you roll like a 2, a 1 or a 2, or let's say 2 2s, yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem because you're most likely not hitting. But overall, this is a different it's a different take on probability control that can give you a lot of control. All right, let's keep going. Nick Fury Jr. Nick Fury Jr., we're just primarily looking at his special power, Back to the Vault. You get it on click 2, which does mean that you are sacrificing a little bit of damage, which is Back to the Vault. Nick Fury can use Incapacitate and Plasticity when Nick Fury Jr. Is given a move action. If he ends his move action adjacent to an opposing character, he may use Incapacitate as a free action after actions resolve. So it's nice that he's able to sort of get in there and lock somebody down. He doesn't have damage reduction, but I like it because you don't have to necessarily use the special power and to get close to somebody to do lockdown. You can do it from range. Okay, you can use Incapacitate from range. The issue that I look at is, as a team player, he's giving you an okay amount of stuff on his dial. Yeah, that's a better way of putting it. He gives you an okay amount of stuff on his dial. Now, the one thing that I will say about this is any bonuses that you have that work with Nick Fury Jr. from the Fast Forces or anything else, that works really well. Now, and here's this is the other thing that sort of ticks me off. Okay, you have Precision Strike, right, homie? They gave your Changing the World the ability to get rid of Mastermind. You have freaking Precision Strike. You don't have to worry about Mastermind. So I don't think they thought that one through. They didn't think that one through. I'm sorry. I'm just a little ticked. Anyway, let's look at your new favorite high point, have to be over 100 point characters support piece. We're going to call it Druid. He has Mystics TA, Shield TA, 7 range, phasing, 9 attack. That's for 100 points. That sucks. 2 damage. That part sucks too. Energy shield deflection. It just sucks. He flies, so he can at least carry people. But here's why he starts getting good. He starts off with, I'm not a liability, even though he is. If Druid is adjacent to a friendly character with the shield keyword, he can use enhancement. If Druid is adjacent to a friendly character with the Secret Warriors keyword, he can use Empower. So there's a possibility for him to use Empower and Enhancement. So that's cool. Next, he has a special power on his attack on click 3, which is Magic Bullet. Give Druid a free action and choose an adjacent friendly character. That character can use Penetrating Psychic Blast and improve targeting, ignores hindering, ignores blocking. When a ranged combat action resolves, any blocking terrain along its line of fire to the target is destroyed this turn. Now, this is the issue. Magic Bullet is by far the one element that I feel really creates a dynamic for 500, 1,000 point games, or definitely 1,000 high point games in which you can't bring in like characters under 100 points. Because now you're able to say, all right, I got my huge Thor, I got my huge Iron Man, I need some sort of support to go on. What do I do? Okay, well, all right, I got Druid, all right, so I'm going to push him a little bit. Now Thor and Iron Man can just shoot almost anywhere. Ignores hindering. In all those walls you put up, screw that. Lightning from Asgard. Oh, yeah, you're over there on that other side of the map. I don't care. I'm Iron Man. Shield tactical response. And so you're boosting up their damage, and then you're also allowing them to just pretty much create almost absolute hit situations. He is, and I'm going to state this very clearly, He is used for wild card fodder and magic bullet, primarily. That's it. Maybe a taxi to shuttlecraft, you know, freaking Steve Rogers to the front of the line since he's an old man now. You know, that's it. You know, there's nothing else that he can really do well. Even he gets perplexed and barrier. I'm still like, just screw it. Just do the freaking magic bullet. That's all you're here for. 3 clicks of magic bullet. And it's sort of sad. Okay, let's go to Agent Coulson. Field testing some new tech. Agent Coulson can use energy explosion and penetrating psychic blast. Agent Coulson can use enhancement and leadership. And when he uses leadership and succeeds, he may instead remove an action token from up to 2 friendly characters that share a keyword with him. This is cool because he allows your shield teams to just flow. You're able to get your multiple actions from rally, then you're able to remove tokens from 2 grunts, or pretty much most of your shield people that have names that aren't just nameless drones are less points than Coulson for the most part, even Nick Fury. And you're just like boom, 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 taking tokens off and rolling leadership, and it works, And then Agent Coulson has energy explosion, 1 target. But if he's able to hit, a cluster of people, they're all taking 1 damage at least. So I like this. I really do like this. I wish some other figures were just as well designed as Coulson. So definitely a really good figure to have if you're into that shield swarm tech. All right, next up is we're going to be looking at Radiance. There we go. Radiance. All right. Radiance is 65 points, 6 range, 2 targets, which is really nice. Incapacitate willpower, 2 targets, but she's primarily rolling as a shutdown piece up front. Then she moves into, hey, check it out, pulse waves. She has the invade your territory trait, which is nice. Definitely considering that she could, on her click 2, if your opponent has barrier up, sidestep into their barrier and pulse wave. Just could. So that's pretty awesome. I wish she had sharpshooter so that she could like running shot into somebody's like barrier and just hit them with incapacitate. But that might be a little bit too OP. Just saying. Shimmering Invasion, and she gets this on her first click. Radiance can use shape change. Adjacent friendly characters that share a keyword with her can use shape change. Now here's where we start taking some moments to look at what she does really well. Because being able to give characters that you share keyword with shape change is nice. Now you have to be adjacent, mind you. Okay, that's fine. But it's another little added defense that is there. She doesn't have it indefinitely, which I wish she did, but she does it. Which means that you have to be a lot more careful in how you play with her. But because she's a taxi, she is able to allow some of your more key figures to get another extra level of defense. So let's say in in Sealed, you were playing like 200-point Iron Man. Now a 200-point Iron Man and Radiance goes together. You're at 265. As long as Radiance is sort of hiding behind Iron Man has shape change. She has shape change. It's another level that your opponent has to go through. It can be really annoying. So overall, I like it. She is a support piece that can be a 3rd-tier attacker. But if you keep that in mind, she's really great. All right. I like Viper, but just because of what I have become, can be sort of cool. I don't think it's too reliable, though. Let's see. All right, so there's Imperial Hydra. Imperial Hydra, I think, is going to be the Coulson for Hydra. And I'm bringing this up because I know a lot of people are going to be like, we're going to do, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. reenactments. I fully know it's coming. I know you're going to go into your venues and play games like that. I know it. Okay. So I'm giving you this wisdom knowing what you all are going to do. Okay. I just know it. All right. So 2 heads shall take their place. When another friendly character with the Hydra keyword is KO'd and actions resolved, you may give Imperial Hydra an action token. If you do, roll a d6 that can't be re-rolled. Place a character from outside the game with the Hydra keyword of 40 points or less adjacent to Imperial Hydra. Okay, 4 through 5. On a 6, place up to 2 characters from outside the game with the Hydra keyword of 40 points or less adjacent to Imperial Hydra. Okay. Oh, so you go from 1 to 2. If you roll a 6, you're able to get 2. If you place a 4 through 5, you're able to bring in 1. Now, there's an okay amount of figures that are cheap that you can bring in. But if you can go Golden Age, if you can get from the Avengers set that Hydra tech, yeah, that sucker is dumb. Bring him back all the time. Hydra's reach is invasive when Imperial Hydra takes damage from an attack, which he won't. Most of the time, unless your opponent has Precision Strike. I mean, come on. And anyway, after actions resolve, you may choose one character adjacent to the attacker and deal 1 penetrating damage and count that character's defense power. Encounter that character's defense power until the end of your next turn. So yeah, you shoot me, punch me, whatever. You don't have a defense power now. What are you going to do there, buddy? I don't care if you have multiple stop clicks. You hit me, you don't have a defense power. So, now, if they're power cosmic, then no. You couldn't counter their defense power because it's not can't use. Oh. So annoying. Anyway, let's go to special power, Strucker's Puppet, but the men don't know it. Imperial Hydra can use leadership. When he does and succeeds, he may instead remove an action token from a friendly character with the Hydra keyword that's within 3 squares regardless of point value. So he's pretty nice because he can pretty much power up everybody to keep them going. A lot of figures, we haven't seen, really, I don't think we've seen any other figures that just said, hey, regardless of point value, I can take tokens off of you, which it sort of sucks because definitely considering that we have a sort of very team focused set, you would think there would be more of that. And so let me just try to make sure it's only at one point in time in this whole entire set. But I do know this much. If someone can find me a way, to get the Hydra keyword on the Quinjet, let me know. Let me know. I got a special prize for you. Okay. Anyway, so let's keep going. Dr. Demonicus, you're going to buy this. You are going to buy this. I don't care what you think. You're going to buy this. And you're like, Dark Logos, I hate it. I hate you when you say stuff like that, man. You telling me what to play. Okay, let's just look at what this guy does. 80 points. Scientist. Okay? You would think he would be mystical with his name like a Demonicus, but it's not. Mind control. Just mind control. Okay, you're like, oh, whatever. Special power, toughness, perplex. You're going to say to yourself, that's the most overcosted support figure in the game. Why am I going to play Dr. freaking Whoop-de-Doo Demonicus? And it's for one reason. Giant monster summon. Give a power action. If no friendly bystander token named on this card is on the map, you may choose one you haven't chosen this game and place it on the map adjacent to him. So you have that. Then you have the special power, Lifestone Defense. Give an adjacent friendly character with the colossal symbol, modify their defense values by +1. Now, you might say, so what? Then I would say, you don't know yet. Because this is where it gets awesome. This is where we start putting our heroclix meta hats on and laughing and laughing and laughing. Okay, so here we go. Batragon. Flight, charge, 9 attack, 9 movement, 11 attack, 19 defense, toughness, 4 damage, close combat expert. I can perplex up his defense to a 20, and him being next to Demonicus makes it a 21. Or I can perplex up his attack to a 12, and then using close combat expert, I can be a 13-5. Do. You see what's going on here. Okay? I can, and these are just some other ideas that just sort of, popped into my head with Batragon. Okay. I can have Gizmo. I can have Gizmo give him Quake. I can have Gizmo give him what was it? Incapacitate. And there was like another power. If Gizmo gave him prob or perplex, he would be dumber. But I know Gizmo's golden age. So you're still saying like, well, Dark Logos, okay, that's one of the monsters. What's the other monsters? Okay, well, let's see Hand of 5. He has Flurry, Flight, standard, no attack power, 18 defense, invulnerability, a little slightly lower defense, but a little bit more robust defense, and 4 damage shape change. So yeah, I can just perplex up that attack up to a 12 and Flurry 4, and then 4 again. And make sure that Hand of 5 has a 19 defense. Yeah, I could do that. I could also play Cerberus, who has an 18 defense, but he has Impervious, and he flies, and he's colossal, and he has range combat expert, and 3 damage, and energy explosion, and 2 targets. And oh yeah, I forgot to say, Hand of 5 has a 5 range and 3 targets. Oh, and I can't forget Star Child, who has Plasticity, Psychic Blast, and Super Senses with 4 damage and 11 attack. So, what would happen if I would combine Dr. Demonicus with Captain Marvel and Perplex's defense? Oh, well, let's see. Demonicus would be 18D, but that's fine. And then, but if I perplexed up the monsters, let's just say I had Batragon would be a 20, then next to Demonicus would be a 21, and then I could perplex it up again to be a 22. So not only is it colossal, he's a 22 defense. That's pretty good. And if I had a Scarlet Witch, may be really dumb. I'm just saying. I'm just some guy on the internet. But yeah, this here is the meta. This here is the meta. Because if your opponent's just like, yeah, I got lucky and bursted down all 4 of these monsters, fine. I don't care. That's 4 attacks that your opponent had to go through that didn't target a character that mattered. Because all these suckers are 0 points. Now, here's the other thing. If you play Dr. Demonicus with, let's say, a real Colossal, you're just giving them more bonuses. You're just like, hey, Galactus, be better. Hey, Master Mold, be better. Hey, guess what? You over there that can turn into a Colossal, be better. Like folks don't realize, they don't realize how dumb this is. So yeah, you're going to buy him, and then you're going to send me an email titled Dr. Demonicus, and saying, Dark Logos, I thank you for giving me that advice. I was a stubborn individual. I didn't know what I was doing, and I played him, And I was just like, yes. And if anything else that will frustrate your opponent, you just go play the blue battery or the indigo battery. Heck, you can play power plant and just watch. Yeah, because the power plant, all of a sudden you're looking at, let's say, I have smoke cloud, now I'm stealth, and I got hindering terrain underneath all these guys. Let's just say I have disintegration beam, impact beam, the one that increases your damage, and the other one, yeah, there's tons of stuff here that just makes this silly. And I mean, I'm not gonna go into hammers, but still, like, this is silly. So again, your opponent wastes an attack to kill one of these monsters. You just take a power action and summon another monster. Oh, they went through all 4 of my monsters. That's 4 attacks your opponents had to land. And this is the thing you have to realize. Every time you summon them in, you can just flat use the monster. So it's like, oh, I'm in a bad position. Batragon, come save me. I'm in a bad position. I'm facing a zombie. Hand of 5, come save me. Sir, I'm dealing with all these close combat guys. Cerberus, come save me. Like you could just pop Cerberus. This is the thing I want you to realize. You can pop Cerberus directly behind you, and if the character is not stealth, Cerberus can just be like, range combat expert master. And pop somebody for, 5 damage or 4 damage. And then they're like, oh, it burns. So yeah, again, you're going to thank me. And you're going to write me an email called Dr. Demonicus, Dark Logos. I was sorry to doubt your prowess when it comes to heroclix. Thank you for giving me this advice that has allowed me to win 500 games of heroclix. Maybe not 500 games, but at least 3 or 4. All right, let's go on. All right, Iron Nail. Iron Nail is a character that defies my normal logic, because normally I wouldn't recommend you a character that's 155 points and doesn't have range, doesn't have any like substantial movement attack like hypersonic speed or running shot. Well, he has range, just a 2 range, but it's not that good of a range. But you might say, well, then Dark Logos, why are you recommending this character? Well, let's look at it first. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 clicks deep with damage reduction the entire time. Yes, I know Banshee turns this into toilet paper, but let's just ignore that for right now. We have rapid power drain. At the end of your turn, place a drain token on the cards of all adjacent opposing characters. Opposing characters modify their combat values by -1 for each drain token placed by him. An opposing character may be given a power action to remove all drain tokens from that card. Let me clear my throat. Okay, so you might ask yourself, this does not seem that awesome. But then when you start to realize, oh, this is a perpetual evil cycle. All right, so we have an 18 defense starting off, and it's at the end of my turn I placed a drain token. So let's just say by chance we're running a Yellow Lantern battery, just saying, and we're going against some standard figures in the meta. So on average, it's about a 55% chance Iron Nail is more higher points than the characters that are targeting him. He's just like, doop-a-doop-a-doo, I'm technically a 20 running around here. Okay? And if you really want to get froggy with it, you can just say, hey, I put Parallax on him for an additional 25 points, which puts him at 180, which puts him in the monster zone, and then, yeah, I can go stealth. Okay, great. Boom. All right, so that's established. So I can just walk on up or have somebody carry me. There's tons of, master deployer figures in the game. And just said, hey, you, Lockjaw, saddle up, homie. We're going. And you just ride that dog all through the night and through the day and then you see the opponents out on the horizon, and you charge them like a mad Scotsman, and then you just base them. And you're just like, bloop. You, and you. -1 all your stats. Your range, your attack, your defense, everything. Minus all those stats. Now, your opponent has a choice. They can try to hit you, which if they had a 4 damage, is now a 3. If they have 3 damage, it's now a 2. And if they have 2 damage, it's now a 1. And if they have 1 damage, sorry to be you, because you have 0 damage. Okay? And so now your opponent has to make a choice. They could try to attack you, or they can try to take a power action to clear all this stuff away. Now, here's the cool thing. Think about this. If they take a power action to remove a token, what are they not doing? Moving, unless they have sidestep. They're just not. So, it's your turn. Lockjaw is sitting in the back like your noble steed, and you're just like, punch you. Okay, you took some damage. All right, so take your damage. All right, now you, and you, minus your stats again. Now, your opponent is sort of in a rough position, because if they don't have TK, if they don't have anything that would allow them to break away, they're stuck. Now, you could say, like, well, hey, Dark Logos, what about Orange Lantern Battery, where you get the plasticity, make it harder for them to break away? Yeah, that is a problem, but there's too much improved movement, ignores characters. What you're looking at is, with Yellow Battery and Parallax, you're looking at, on average, well, you're looking at a +1 attack, +1 defense, +1 movement, and a 3 range. The other thing that you're looking at is a negative perplex that you can put. Well, no, you can't use a negative perplex unless you use the power cosmic perplex up front, or you can get stealth up front. But then you also, on click 2, have access to hypersonic speed, which makes you even dumber. So the hypersonic speed definitely is, gosh, that's just worth its weight in gold right there. You also have access to invincibility, so you can choose to bounce between invincibility and impervious, whichever suits you best. And no matter what, for your first few clicks, you're getting a stat bump. You just are. Really, your first 4 clicks, you're getting a stat bump on your damage. And then once you get to your 5th click, that's when your damage value matches up with Parallax's. But you can still say, like, hey, I have hypersonic speed. Iron Nail is one of the sleeper figures in this set that I think no one will pay attention to, no one will care about until it is too late. Does he need proper support? Yes. Is he a one-man army? No. Does he still need a decent team to be built around? Yes. But I do believe this, that he is in that one distinct point value that a majority of meta figures do not go over. And you have a very small subset of meta figures that are left. Now, you could say, well, blah, 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 these characters are coming in and doing crazy stuff and taking away this and taking away that. As long as you are able to carry him and get him across the map into the fray, you're golden. Everything else doesn't matter. So, the rapid power drain is silly strong, and then you're constantly adjacent to your opponent. So because you're constantly adjacent to your opponent, it's like, okay, I'm on back half my dial, still energy, keep stealing some energy, come on, still energy, blah 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 blah. Now let's go back to Parallax for a moment, and you're like, Dark Logos entities, I can't afford them. Okay, I'm sorry, just bear with me. Okay, so let's go down to click 6. Okay, so we're on click 6. We have flurry, we have still energy, we have 16 defense. Guess what? We can up our defense to a 17. We can pick invincibility, all right, as a power, so we're not taking as much damage. We can also say, hey, guess what? You can't ignore pushing damage with our still energy, and we also can pick running shot if we need to. Oh, guess what? On click 5, I can, when I go and move back up, I have access to impervious. So if we're concerned about defensive options, pretty much we have better defensive options from parallax all the way up till click 7. Okay, all the way up to click 7. And even then, we're like, oh, guess what? I get access to exploit weakness, and you can't ignore pushing damage. All right, cool. And I have steal energy, and I'm hitting you, and I'm healing back up, and I'm getting invincibility again. You hit me. Okay, cool. I go down, I steal energy on you, and I go back up to invincibility. You see? So the sustainability that is there is silly. Is it at the point of, Barren Blood, of, carrying hover drone stacks the entire time? No, it's not airship Chinese food. Okay. But, and I'm just laying this out there for everybody. The fact that it doesn't matter your opponent's attack value, your opponent's damage value, their defense value, that if they catch you at the wrong time, if you catch them at the wrong time in the tempo, you can crash their stats. I really want you all to see that you could crash their stats, and then you're gonna be like, well, Dark Logos, I get my opponent's getting +1 stats because they share a keyword from the power battery, and I put 3 tokens on them. They're still only -2, except for damage. No. You can keep stacking those tokens on them, and it would still have an effect until your opponent takes a power action. Now, here's another thing. If you have a character that's just like, you can't take power actions, it gets even dumber. Now, you're definitely talking about higher point games at that stage, but it's there. Another thing that will also be annoying is if you have characters that just say, oh, you did this type of action, take 2 tokens. So now they have to sit there longer. Now, on average, if you're definitely dealing with an indomitable character, they're going to stack 2 tokens, take a power action to clear 1 off, and then try to attack you or run away or something like that. Again, your trusty steed of Lockjaw, or whoever the hell else you have, is there to make sure that they cannot yippee-ki-yay into the future. They are going to sit there and take that damage. Okay? So, again, is this a figure that tons of people are going to be like, nerf him? No, because he's a lot more balanced than White Witch. Not White Witch, than Scarlet Witch, because you take 1 power action, all the tokens are gone. It just says clearly, opposing characters modify their combat values by -1 for each drain token placed by them. An opposing character may be given a power action to remove all drain tokens from the character's card. Pure and simple. They can wipe all 1,500 that you put on their character, okay, with 1 power action. But they do know, your opponent will know at the end of your turn, if you are not dead, that the cycle starts again. So, I've been ranting for a bit, and we haven't even gotten to super rares yet. All right, so I'm gonna try to tighten it up a little bit. All right, next up is Captain America, Black History Month bias. Straight, not lying, just Black History Month bias. But there are some other cool things that sort of come along with Captain America. First off is still King of the Birds. At the beginning of the game, place 3 pigeon bystander tokens and 1 red wing bystander token in your starting area. All these characters cost 0 points. These are super duper Scooby snacks for Barren Blood. Just saying. They're also tiny, so yeah, they're Scooby snacks for Barren Blood and whoever else needs to kill just characters to do whatever. Okay, so then you have his special power, and it's a defense power, which is, how did I ever survive without a shield, which does sort of make sense. Captain America can use energy, shield deflection, invulnerability, super senses, and willpower. This is huge because tempo-wise, at almost half your team, he needs to do something. I will say this, more than likely, he will be a guy that you call in on the ID cards more than anything else. All right, so first, I'm going to say running shot, precision strike, great. Flurry, precision strike, great. Flurry enhancement, okay, whatever. Charge and exploit weakness. Okay, you're going back into old Falcon. I like new Falcon that's running around shooting people. Give me more new Falcon. Okay? Give me more of that guy. Give me some, I'm still learning to use the shield, improve targeting, something. Like it ignores characters, but -1 damage or something. Like, give me something. Okay? Give me that. Alright? Shield keyword. Yay. Avengers keyword. Yay. Stuff to be done. Pigeon, sidestep, 0 attack, 0 damage. Again, they have no defense. They are just pure tie-up fodder. That's all. Red Wing, charge, precision strike, and super senses with tiny size. I sort of wish that Red Wing had blades, but that's okay. I'll take it. I'm going to bring up Thor because everybody's like, yeah, Thor. But Thor is okay. And I know I just spoke blasphemy to someone who worships the daughter of Jameson. But I don't think she's that great. Now, hear me out when I say this. Let's look at if she be worthy. Modify Thor's attack value and damage values by +1 when targeting a single character that is assigned a relic or a resource with an attack. I have 2 targets. I can only target 1 to get this bonus. And it's a +1/+1, and that's fine. So that puts you at a 12/5. And that's not bad. And you can stack it with other bonuses that possibly get her up to like a 13/4 or a 13/5 or a 14/5. And that's fine. I fully understand that you come into this magical auto hit land. My main problem is the investment for getting that, to me, is too high at 145. Now you might say, well, Dark Logos, you're the guy that argued for Iron Nail for like 5 minutes. What's so bad with Thor and she can do all this other cool stuff? My main concern with Thor is this. She is, no sexual pun intended, top heavy. Very top heavy. First click, third click, the rest of it goes downhill. Okay? And even with Indomitable, she's okay. Yes, you can summon her in with a Thor ID card when we finally get it. Great. Cheap, awesome Thor that you can summon in. But I really have to be honest with you. She doesn't have any penetrating damage. She doesn't have any energy explosion. Her cost value is high, and you get a nice amount of clicks. I'll give you that. But her damage reduction goes down fast. So you go 2 clicks of impervious, 2 clicks of invulnerability, 2 toughness. And I'm sorry, you're going to get psychic blasted or exploit weakness or just something for 3 to 4. You're not going to really see too much of that. If she started off with invincible, I'd be like, yeah, boss, let's do this. Okay, but the fact that she starts off with impervious does leave her pretty weakened. And then let's look at it as well. She is on average a 17 defense. On average, we go 17, 17, 18. That's her spike, but she has it with invulnerability and 3 damage and super strength. 17, 17, 17, 16, 15. Now, here's our problem, and here's our problem, is that when she goes into that 18 defense, what you're saying is someone came in, did an attack for 4, you missed impervious, it got reduced down to 2, now you're in a melee situation. But if that wasn't a close combat attack, and that was a ranged attack, you've lost your ability to kite. And once you've lost your ability to kite, she's a lot more riskier. Definitely if the stage of the game hasn't gotten to the point where there is a huge engage in the middle of the map, or at least firmly on someone else's side of the map. Now, again, I'm talking purely from a tempo standpoint when we're looking at the figure. I don't give a darn about her story arc. And I don't want any comments below like, is this just hate for female Thor? No, I don't give a crap about that. Okay? And I just want to make it clear, because I don't want someone emailing me or putting comments that I'm, hating just because it's female Thor. But really, the main disadvantage to me is that if you get caught at the wrong point in time and she gets tagged, you're looking at 2 turns before you catch up with the tempo, and that's not good, because you have to move and possibly clear before you're able to go in again, because you don't want to move in with a major hit and then be like, well, oh crap, I'm stuck. Okay. So this is where I'm going at. Let's look at her first special power, which is I am the goddess of thunder. She can use energy explosion, improve targeting, ignores characters, ignores elevation, ignores hindering. So she can just take her shot, which is great. And she has to pick like a Wondergore mountain map so that her opponent can't get to her. She has to like dance around the mountain, the base of the mountain or the top of the mountain, to make sure that her opponent can't get to her for her to stay alive. And that's a huge element. It's ridiculously huge element. Okay. Now, one thing that she can't ignore is hindering. Oh no, she doesn't ignore hindering. Never mind. Sorry. So she ignores everything that's important, except for blocking terrain, which is cool. A lot of people don't. Now, this is when, I think Druid comes in. It's like, but my lady, I have the final spell you need for your ultimate cast. All right, Energy Explosion is great because she has 2 targets, so she's able to, do 2 damage with her Energy Explosion. The You Will Taste Cold Uru, Thor can use Charge when she does and moves in a direct line. She doesn't have her speed value, and that's pretty good. But she has to move in a straight line. If she is not carrying an object, big downside, she can use improved movement, ignores blocking terrain, and destroys blocking terrain as the character moves through it. So she gets to do a Juggernaut moment if she is able to not carry an object, which means you have a 3 damage. So that puts her back into I must smack an entity on her so that she's a lot better. And again, I don't have a problem with that. But for 145, if we start looking and comparing damage values and survivability, it's not that great. End dial, 2 clicks of pulse wave, and then regen, with shape change, so you can possibly get back up there. That's nice, but you all know my position on last click regen. There is no guarantee that you're going to get that at all. So what does it mean for this piece? It is a nice piece to have. It has tons of uses on standard teams that are using ID cards, because you can summon in a very effective 1-strike Thor. Definitely if you know your opponents have resources. This is a big deal. But, there's always a but, I would say designing a team around her will be a lot more difficult once you start looking at Asgardian, deity, and warrior keywords. Theme team is going to be a lot harder. Okay. And I don't want to say the other Thors that we've had recently are better, but the other Thors that we've had recently have allow us to sort of take a moment and say, this Thor is good. Some other different Thors are good as well. What are the options that I'm weighing here? And so she doesn't stand out purely as like the best Thor. And this is where I sort of come with a slight equality thing. I'm glad she's not the best Thor, because I would have called that pandering. I do think she is a equitable Thor for her point values, and that's as fair as I can make it. All right, let's go on. Yep, man. Well, yeah, let's go on. I don't like Steve Rogers, and I know I'm going to get mad hate for that, but I just don't think he's the best there is. But speaking of the best there are, let's talk about Hulk at 300 points and Hulk at 100 points. Hulk and Poet of Smash. Improved movement, ignores hindering, ignores and destroys blocking as the character moves through it. That's what you needed to see. You needed some ignores characters too, but that's fine. I don't care. This is a Hulk you can carry because he's not a giant. Okay? That, you know, fucking pisses me off. But unfortunately, you also have to deal with all that battle fury that he has, which is right back to you wish you were a giant. But anyway, Hulk has traded super strength because he's the strongest one there is. He has a special defense power, indestructible Hulk. When this click is revealed due to taking damage, stop turning the dial when Hulk would be dealt damage. Roll a d6 that can't be re-rolled. This power can't be countered or ignored. He can use invulnerability on 1 or 2, invincible on a 3 or 4, or he ignores the damage dealt on a 5 or 6. So it doesn't matter if it's Psychic Blast or whatever. He's just like, whatever, son. I'm the Hulk. There's no brain to eat here. Then he has the special power, damage power, researching the Hulk with shield. When Hulk clears 1 or more action tokens, place a research token on the card of a friendly character with the shield keyword. Even if this power is lost, friendly characters can remove a research token from their card to use Outwit until your next turn. So there's some nice things that you have these brief moments in which you can actually carry the Hulk, but and then get some Outwit. So that's about it. I hate Iron Man because he's pandering. He's pandering to make you buy stuff that you really don't need, to buy stuff you really don't need, nor do you want. And he's not that good of an Iron Man. He's really not. I know some people might say, like, oh, but he has isolate and contain, and he has, you know, subverting shields command structure and all this other stuff. And it's like, well, he can allow for Nick Fury to take, you know, tokens off the Quinjet, which I found it myself. You know, no. Just no. Just no. That's all I have to say. Because for me to have to buy this Iron Man, and sorry, I said I need to tighten it up, but this is a rant. For me to buy this Iron Man, for me to use a Hulk Buster after I collected all those dang pieces, this is just you saying like, hey, we know we messed up with team bases. We're not going to be making team bases that often, but we want to make that team bases money. So you got to hunt down and track down all these other little pieces that are expensive as all get out. Put it together, and then on top of that, you need a super rare to freaking run the thing. I don't like that. I think that's really abusive of your community, whiz kids. Really do. So screw this Iron Man. Screw him. Next up is Namor. You play him because if you got that kind of exclusive ID card, he is probably the best thing for your team. Because he does a couple of things. First off, he gets to break down barrier and smoke cloud tokens when he moves, which is the greatest. And then since he's a flyer, he just can ignore characters as long as he, you know, started his movement. So you're just like, I need to get rid of all of that there. Just he goes through, makes his charge attack, boom. You know, but the other cool thing is he gets, after he uses invade your territory, and leave behind a bit of mine. When Namor or one other friendly character uses the invade your territory trait, so you can like combo off of Bucky or whoever else. After actions resolve, you may place a water terrain marker in any of the squares from which the barrier smoke cloud marker was removed. So that's pretty cool too. And so then you can just be like, okay, Bucky, Bucky's like, hey, Namor, I set you up, bro. I left that bucket of water over there for you. And then Namor's like, check out my 5-point dive, Bucky. And then, Master of Undersea Travel. If Namor occupies a square of water terrain and has 0 or 1 action tokens, give Namor a free action to place him in another square of water terrain within 6 squares. So he could just pretty much just out of the shadows and pop somebody. But if he's in the water terrain to start, he pops somebody, then jumps to like safe water terrain. He doesn't even have to have line of fire to the sucker. That's awesome. Now, I do like the fact that he can't just be like, I have no action. I have 2 action tokens. Let me just keep bouncing around the map. I do think that's fair. But if you think about it like this, if there's a significant amount of water on the map, like Sunken Wakanda, he potentially can go, if he starts in water terrain, up 6 squares, then charge an additional 5. So that's an 11 square charge with super strength and 4 damage. And I'm just saying as a figure. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. And if by chance your Namor has the Namor ID card on the side for the inspiration, it gets stupider because now you're talking about, a 6 charge, 12 attack, 19D, 5 damage. And he can still pick up a heavy. So overall, this figure is good. I bought one, so I would advise for you to get one too. Nick Fury, this guy's broken. He's broken. He's going to get watch listed. I'm going to tell you right now, he's going to get watch listed. If they watch listed the Orange Battery, they're going to watch list him or errata him. He's going for cheap right now. I would definitely try to make sure that you get yourself one. And let's go into why. You look at his stats: 9 range, stealth, 11 attack, 18 defense, 3 damage. You're like, that's overcosted. He's 6 clicks deep. I've crapped on so many 5 and 6 click deep characters, and you're like, he has toughness. This guy is going to die. And I don't blame you for thinking any of that whatsoever. It's like he starts off with stealth, like Dark Logos. You are on that stuff. I hate this. But then you start looking at the minute details and you're like, oh my goodness. First off, minute detail number 1. He has the cosmic keyword. Think about that for a moment. What else has cosmic keywords? Yeah, entities. Next off, he has a trait, Spy Satellite. Improved targeting, ignores elevated, ignores hindering in characters for line of fire. So pretty much as long as they're in the open and not behind barrier, he has a line of fire to them at 9 range. What have I been saying a majority of this time between the almost 2 hours you've been listening? Well, 2 hours and plus you've been listening to me. If blah 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 had a sniper rifle, if blah 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 had a sniper rifle, no, Nick Fury has a sniper rifle. Okay, so that complaint is gone. That complaint is gone. All right, so next up is the trait Cosmic Assassin, Guardian of Earth. Nick Fury can use shape change. When Nick Fury targets only the highest point opposing character with an attack, modify his attack and damage value by +1, and he deals penetrating damage. So it's not Psychic Blast. And it's not Exploit Weakness. Okay? This can be a melee or ranged attack. This is, for video game reference, this is what's called untyped damage. So now Nick Fury is a 12-4. If he targets the highest point character. Pair him up with a lovely, nice little character called Bill Agent of AIM. And that whole, blocking terrain situation is sort of gone. That problem is gone. Okay? Then you have the special power, Watcher's Eye, to see secrets. Nick Fury can use probability control. Give Nick Fury a free action. Hold up, wait. So I get shape change from the Cosmic Assassin. Cosmic Assassin, Guardian of Earth. I can increase my attack value. I can increase my damage value. Okay. I get this Watcher's Eye that allows me to get prob, but I'm a 12-4. Okay. Then give Nick Fury a free action and choose a power that an opposing character within range and line of fire but I can draw line of fire to almost anything. Can use. That character can't use that power until your next turn. Dang, you can't use Ruin and more heroclix. And this is why he's going to get watch listed. He does too much stuff. Because I'm going to break it down another level. I'm going to break this down another level for you. Let's just say this. I'm using a power plant or indigo battery, or let's not go with Green Lantern battery. Let's go with indigo battery, or even let's say White Lantern battery. Fucking doesn't matter. If I get any buffs to my if I get any buffs to my damage, any buffs to my range. Oh, the bazillion cheapo shield agents that are running around this set. And then say, oh yeah, I now have a 12 range that ignores elevated, ignores hindering, ignores characters. I have range combat expert, or I've gotten other damage buffs from my rings. I burned a ring, so now I'm a 13. Or I took a power action from my shield guys to bump my damage again. I hit you. The attack, all the damage is penetrating. So I've hit you for 6 penetrating damage. Oh, guess what? Guess what, homie? If you just by chance have invincible, F you. You can't use it. You can't use it because I say so. And that's why this is dumb. That's why this is dumb. I would say buy 2, but I don't want you to get stoned and tarred and feathered at your venue. If you have one, don't trade it. Just keep it. If you get a second, just put it on eBay and make your money. Now, I would say hold off and wait until after World Cup, because I do believe Nick Fury will show up at World Cup. He's too good. He is way too good. And there's too much stuff in his kit that allows him to attack, to negate, and to be highly survivable. I mean, heck, White Lantern battery. Oh, I'm about to kill Nick Fury. Sorry, homie. You didn't do it with Pulse Wave. I come back. Roll region. Ta-da! Power action heal. So there's a lot there. Like, definitely buy him. Golden Claw is good, just mainly for the fact that he has a lot of control once he gets his little psychic disc things going. I do think that some people will sleep on him. I'm not going to buy him, but I do recommend him. Skipping Nighthawk standard, even though he's good, just for the sake of time, he's good. Definitely with Thunderbolt's keyword. He's good. And the night and day thing, that's really good too. But the BS here is Nighthawk Prime. Nighthawk Prime is some shenanigans that should never exist, ever in the game. And here's why. Let's go into it. The people must think for themselves. Friendly characters can't be targeted by mind control. Opposing characters' combat values can't be increased unless they are adjacent to Nighthawk. So I've locked down your values. And on top of that, you can't use friendly mind control. So I've shut down your offense in 2 ways. Okay, just right there with your trait for me existing on the map. period. Next up, you have his defensive power. President of the United States of Earth 712. Nighthawk can use energy shield deflection and shape change. But wait, the BS doesn't stop there. When he uses shape change, increase the result by +1 for each adjacent friendly character. Well, let's see. If I have 4 adjacent friendly characters, if you attack me with anything that's not Battle Fury or Pulse Wave, you can't attack me. Like you have to understand that. There is no fail state. So you surround Nighthawk with 3 hopes, or 3 hopes. Now, Nighthawk is untouchable. Ta-da! And guess what? The 3 hopes are untouchable unless you have Battle Fury or Pulse Wave. Ta-da! So, yeah. And then you go, his last special power is he gets charged, stealth, and the flight ability. But let's just be honest and call this what it is. We just call it old BS there. It's that old BS the WizKids throws out because they didn't play test this. And this is another level of ta-da. Okay, what else have we noticed has been going on in this set? Just people generating free pogs? Free pogs. And I can just surround you with free pogs, and now you can't be targeted, and I have to mow down all your pogs. And you might, and folks might be wondering, like, well, why was all this energy explosion in the set? Maybe just to stop this Nighthawk crap. Okay? I'm just saying. Now, the other thing is that energy explosion would be able to hit Nighthawk if it was splash damage, since energy explosion splash damage is not targeted. Okay? Shape change only allows you to not be targeted with an attack. Okay? So that's another thing. Now, here some folks will say, like, but Dark Logos, I can just outwit the special power, and then it goes away, and then I kill the Nighthawk. And then I would say, yes, that would be great. But then comes this Indigo battery again that starts the shenanigans all over. It just does. So it's frustrating. It's really, really frustrating, because if your opponent really thinks about it and says, okay, my one power is outwit, but wait, isn't there an ID card that stops my opponents from using outwit? But wait, aren't there characters that I can use to make my opponent not use outwit? But wait, couldn't I just outwit my opponent's outwit? It's so much that it makes me cry. Now, the good news is his damage values aren't anything to write home about, and it's going to be a very slow chisel for him to get through stuff. But if he gets that wonderful boxing glove or, crossbow, then yeah, he's on it, and he's going to be ranking out. He's going to be bringing out the damage. So yeah, and oh yeah, guess what? Nighthawk has outwit. Oh, I outwit your outwit, just to make sure that one outwit that you have on your entire team, I take it away. So what does that mean? Does that mean that we're in an age of stacking multiple outwits? No, but it does mean that there's some problems. So anybody that says, like, screw you and your special powers, like Jenny, yeah, that's what's up. Okay, Baron Strucker, just going to bring him up because he potentially could do some stupid stuff. Hydra's reach is worldwide when Baron Strucker takes damage from an attack and actually resolves deal 1 penetrating damage to the attacker and each opposing character within 2 squares of the attacker. So that's pretty cool. It doesn't require line of fire. Then, ruthlessly pursuing Hydra goals. Each time another friendly character with the Hydra keyword is KO'd by an opposing character, modify the combat values of all friendly characters with the Hydra keyword by +1 until the end of your next turn. Satan's Claw Slash. Baron Strucker can use Blaze Claw's Fangs and exploit weakness. And Hydra's true leader, Baron Strucker, can use leadership in Perplex. Now, this isn't bad at all. And that's and the one thing I really do like about this Baron Strucker is that he has potential with a couple other characters. Mainly, what was that cat's name? The one that makes Hydra guy's shield. He's on the show. I forgot his name. I haven't watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for a bit. So you combine him with Baron Strucker, and all of a sudden Strucker's looking at a 9 range with energy explosion and sidestep and other silly stuff. So Strucker can be a very damaging figure. I just think he needs some upfront stat pumps. With all the precision strike around, WizKids really has to revisit Mastermind, because Mastermind is sort of pointless. It just is. All right, let's look at the chases. I know you all have been troopers. There's no lobby going in this episode. I'm sorry. Let's look at the chases. And let's start off with the Avengers Sky Cycle at 50 points. The Avengers Sky Cycle is okay. You get Running Shot, 0 attack, 17 defense, 0 damage. You get Personal Craft, Hawkeye. A theme team may include Avengers Sky Cycle and still a theme team as long as the character's name Hawkeye is on your force. Well, here's the freaking problem. Just about every Hawkeye has an Avengers keyword. So that's dumb. It's like, smack that head. Now, if it said like Clint Barton or something else, it's like, then yeah, all right, cool. Unless there's like a future Hawkeye that has no keywords or something like that. Or Ultimates Hawkeye that has the Ultimates keyword. Oh, great. All right, so again, just smack that head. Just gotta smack that head. Anyway, unbelievable upside down shot when Avengers Sky Cycle makes an attack. You may modify its attack by +2. If you do, an action's resolve. Roll d6 that can't be rerolled. On a result of 1, place the pilot in an adjacent square, dealing it in all passengers 2 unavoidable damage. Now, here's why this is actually pretty cool. All right, I can put a 10 attack character with, let's say, 3 damage inside the Sky Cycle and carry, whoever. All right, now, the range value, I'm assuming your range value is going to become equal to your pilot, and your attack and your damage value is going to be equal to your pilot. So that's fine. So I can put a close combat monster guy in here with, crappy range, and that's fine. But I can more so put a character with, reasonable range, like 7 or higher, that doesn't have move and attack inside of this little protective candy-coated shell. That's the best way I can put it. When I do that, what it does, it gives me time to save my pilot for mid-game to late game. Hear me out. It gives me time to save my pilot for mid-game to late game. Because after the vehicle is destroyed, I'm taking 1 click. But if I've been wrecking shop this entire time, what has my opponent been doing? They've been taking damage from my pilot's stats. And yeah, they could come over and wreck my 50-point cycle and do 1 damage to me. But guess what? Once that's all said and done, I've already done maybe 2 to 3 attacks that's landed and done significant amounts of damage. Now you have to deal with that piece as it is, and you're hurt. So for other people like, the vehicles sucks. No, the vehicles don't sucks. They're pretty good. Definitely for the Sky Cycle. I would wait for the price to go down, though, because it's not worth $30. It's definitely not worth $30. So let's go ahead and move on to Captain America's motorcycle. Same thing. It's the same exact thing. You're just putting in somebody that's super cheap that needs a deployment method and an activation click that or whatever. Those are options. You can just be like, yep, I just need to be able to get this guy to the other side of the map. And I don't care if this thing blows up or not. He needs to get there. And that's what Captain America's motorcycle is there for. Anything else, if you try to do the jump it and the ram and all that other stuff, don't please, just don't do that. All right, let's look at Shield Space Rig. 25 points, sidestep, 9 attack, 2 damage. Personal craft Nick Fury. A theme team may include Shield, Space Rig, and still a theme team as long as character named Nick Fury is on your force. But again, Nick Fury has the freaking Shield key word. And freaking no, it makes my head hurt. Makes my head hurt. Okay, okay, let's go on. All right, personal craft Nick Fury. A theme team may include in Shield, Space Rig, and still is the theme team as long as character named Nick Fury is on your force. Suborbital Lift is a special power that you get on your heroclix 2, 3, and 4. Shield Space Rig can use energy shield deflection. Big whoop. If Shield Space Rig has 2 action tokens, it can't be the target of close combat attacks, which is like, really, that's bad. It's really bad. But again, it's one of those, all right, let's try to get somebody out there. It has 0 passengers, so it can't carry anybody. Same thing for Captain America's motorcycle. Next up is Kang's time chair, because this sucker is actually stupid, and I wouldn't say it shouldn't be made, but what it does, if you have a guy at your venue for big point games has like 5 probs, buy the Kang's time chair. And let's go into why. All right, first off, personal craft, Kang, we already know what's up. Autopilot. This character may be given actions without a pilot, blah, 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 blah. If it makes an attack, takes damage, blah, 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 blah. View the timelines, the special power. This is it. This is what you pay the 90 points for. Kang's time chair can use probability control. Each time an opposing character within range and line of fire uses probability control, Kang's time chair may immediately use probability control, even if it's already used this turn. So you're just like, but I just used prop. Nope, time chair says this goes down. But you already used prop. Yep, I did, but the time chair lets me do it again. Then, there's other ways that you can increase his range, with all the shield guys that we have to an 8, so it makes it a little bit better. But it's definitely one of those, like, if you have that guy that plays a bazillion probbers, and I'm not going to lie, half the time that's me, then yeah, the time chair is worth it. Thanos Shrine. If you could see me shake my head. Lesser beings are incinerated. Thanos' throne can only be piloted by characters 100 points or more. Yeah, okay. That's completely cool. Autopilot. Same thing. Your new master demands homage. Give Thanos' throne a power action if it has a pilot. For each opposing character within 2 squares with 0 or 1 action tokens, that character controller chooses. Give that character an action token or deal that character 2 penetrating damage. Now, who does this combo really, really well with? I would think Iron Nail. Does it work at a 300-point game? No, it really doesn't. So, what would it scale at? Probably a 500 to 600-point game. And I'm just being honest. If you're able to just be like, take 2 penetrating damage, or you're going to take that action token and sit here and get your stuff knocked down some more, most people are going to take that 2 damage. All right, if you haven't looked at the piloting rules, check it out again. They changed the piloting rules for the vehicles, so that's it. All right, thank you for staying tuned to the show. I know we went an hour and a half on this end and then an hour on the last end. A lot of figures in the set, mainly because there's A and B figures on top of primes and everything else. This set is definitely a transitional must-buy set. This is a depowering set, at the same time putting more risk and reward back into the game. WizKids is trying to rebalance the game by saying, if you do X and Y condition, which isn't impossible, but it is rather risky, you will get a very nice reward. If you do these rewards, if you get these rewards, you could control tempo, but understand that your opponent could take away your advantages real easily just with an easy KO. So those are things that, when you're dealing with a very diverse meta, can be a problem. At your local meta, not so much, because what we're seeing is usually the same sort of setups. I would definitely tell you that since we had Age of Ultron Wave 1 and Wave 2 in Nick Fury, if we were to start analyzing the meta, Energy Explosion is probably the best power in the game as it is right now. The Thor from Wave 2 is probably the quintessential attacker because he has penetrating Energy Explosion at a decent range. The main reason I'm saying this is the Pog tech is on the loose. Like, stupid level on the loose. And so, because it's at that point, you need a way to wipe out multiple guys at once. Just boom, and get that fodder out the way and force your opponent not to clump. And that's a problem for most teams because they're using some sort of taxi or whatever to get most of the fodder into play, or they're carrying these micro-sized characters around because they can. So the one element that I would definitely say, like, be on the lookout for, if we start looking at characters that just give flat friendly characters buffs or powers, or hey, I can make this little guy here do something else that's dumb. Fitz, mark my words, Fitz, Dr. Demonicus, Captain America, Hive. These 4 characters, you're going to look back and say, dang it, I really wish I listened to Dark Logos and got those characters. Because the amount of stuff that's being generated by them is stupid. And then even more so when you start combining those characters with, like, Ant-Man from his box set. For anybody that's able to generate characters like, Maximus, who's able to generate characters. And even going back into Golden Age with Female Ultron. Definitely Female Ultron in this new meta era. She is really good. From the Gravity Feed, that is. The character generation mechanic before had a high risk because the characters generated in were costed points, and even so much so WizKids realized the imbalance of it, that you had Dr. Spectrum super rare. He could generate rock for free the first time, but your opponent kills him, your opponent gets 25 points, but you could regenerate rock. Now what we're seeing is, hey, these characters cost 0 points, have crappy stats, and you can ignore them, but they do this other broke thing that's really sort of cool, but they only can do that broke thing. And, oh, hey, here, look at these other characters here. I can summon these broken, strong guys for, until you kill them, but then I can't summon that same broken, strong one guy again. I have 4 of these cards. I have to be careful how I use it. I can't just spam them. So when you start seeing that, or even Captain America starting off with Red Wing, which is truthfully the one that you want to protect, and 3 pigeons that you're just like, whatever, it's super useful. Because I can take those 3 pigeons, tie up your sniper. Your sniper now has to attack a pigeon. And then, Red Wing comes in and he's like, yeah, precision strike, hit you for 2 damage. Bam, what do you think about that, Kyle Rayner? Yep, you're on your stop click. I don't care. Now, homies, get them. And you start combining it with Round Table, like the Vision ID card being more and more useful. just almost, I wouldn't say essential if you're looking at this Pog Tech, but it just about is. So we got a lot of stuff going down, and I want everybody just sort of take a moment and reassess the meta, because even after I put out that show the other week, just saying like, hey, this is the meta, these are the support figures, it's been reset, and you can start to see the figures that come in and start taking in some of those new places. So, thank you for listening to today's episode. You can follow me on Twitter at StartOverPod. It came from outer space and told me, man, I need to get some sleep because my throat hurts. You can find my random musings on Twitter. Also, as a super secret reward for everybody that's listened to both podcasts, I'm going to do another contest. Yes, I am. You might say, Dark Logos, you just gave out so much swag. How are you not broke? And how are you doing another contest? I am. But here's what I'm going to do. You have to hit me up on Twitter, not email, not comments below, on Twitter, what the conditions of the contest will be. You don't know the prizes. You won't know the prize until I announce it. But you need to mark out the conditions of the giveaway. All right. There you go. That's your challenge if you choose to accept it. All right. You can email me at startingoverpodcast@gmail.com. That's startingoverpodcast@gmail.com if you wish to opine. Keep it piffy, keep it interesting, keep it awesome, baby. Tell me what you think of this set and how your wallet is bleeding, not bleeding, or somehow survived the cataclysm. And you can check out the buy list once I can get it compiled on startingoverpodcast.blogspot.com. If you choose to donate to the show, you can do it from there as well. If you want to hire me as a tutor for your awesome heroclixness, it's $15 an hour. And I will help you focus on whatever you feel that you need to focus on. And, check out the link in the description for t-shirts. Get yourself a Starting Over Podcast t-shirt, or get yourself a cool Phoenix Nest t-shirt, which is the HeroClix team that I run. So definitely check those out on TeePublic. Also, give me your feedback on the shirts. What are you looking for? And also, just letting you know, the current shirt is summertime only. So sometime in mid-September, that version of the white box shirt is going to be gone. So, yeah. You could get to say you have a limited edition shirt. So, all right, that's it. Thank you for listening. And remember, we all have to start over sometime.